Today we're talking about describing patterns and relationships. We'll talk about doing this in three ways. One, we'll use words. Second, we'll use a table of values. And third, we'll use an expression. So we've got an example here. Bring this pattern into play. Okay, first we see our pattern here, this pattern of pumpkins. So we have 5 figures here. As we look at these figures, we can notice that the number of pumpkins increases as we move up the figures. So if we're describing this using words, our first way to describe your relationship, we would put that increasing by 2 pumpkins each time. So that's our description using words. Secondly, we want to use a table of value. Now we have a table of values drawn right here. You'll notice down the left side, we have drawn the figure numbers, 1 through 4. And on the right side, we're going to put the number of pumpkins in each of those figures. So the first one is done there. In the first figure, there are 5 pumpkins. In the second figure, there are 7 pumpkins. The third, there are 9. And the fourth, there are 11. So again, as our pattern in the words description showed, the pumpkins increase by 2 each time. So we can show that on the side here that we are increasing by 2. So now we always need to make sure we have figure 0 also in this. And we'll use that in a minute with our expression builder. But the number of pumpkins, if there was an expression 0, if we back up 2 pumpkins, there would be 3 there. We'll worry about this bottom one in a minute. Okay, so now we have our table of values filled out. We have on the left-hand side, which is our X column, we have it filled out with the figure numbers, and our right side, which is the Y column, we have filled out with the number of pumpkins in each. So now we've used the table of values to show all the information we have to describe this pattern that's just being displayed. Now the third way is going to use an expression. Now to build our expression, we use the expression builder. And here's the expression builder. So we have positive, negative, blank, X, plus or minus blank. Now to fill in the blank to build our expression for this particular pattern, in the first blank, we put the change in the Y column. And I spelled column incorrectly. So the change, as you remember, is over here, is a positive 2. We're adding 2. In the second blank, we put the value of Y when X is 0. So that we have for this column. So X is at 0 here, and then the Y column is a positive 3. So now we have used the expression builder to build our expression, which now, pulling those things down, we have 2x plus 3. So our expression goes up on the top of the Y column, and our variable goes on the top of the left column. So now we want to check to make sure that this is the correct expression for this table of values and for this relationship. So I'm now going to input my X values into the expression and make sure that I get the correct output. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. That one's good. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. That one is good. So now that we have the correct expression, we can fill in this last remaining box here. So I'm now going to input this value, 7 for X. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 3 is 17. So now my box, or my table of values, is complete. Okay, we're now going to show one more, and we'll move a little quicker in this one. How about we go with this bottom one here? All right, so here we have some matches in a pattern. So again, if I'm describing with words, first I need to see what's happening in the pattern. So I'm going to look at these and I see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in this one. Okay, so I notice there as we move down the figures, we'll call this figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. We'll notice that we are increasing by 3 each time we move down there. So for figure 1, 2, and 3 goes in my left column, which is our variable we're going to use this time is m, so that's our x side, and our y side, again, we'll put our expression in here once we get it. So in figure 1, we have 5, figure 2, we have 8, figure 3, we have 11. So in figure 4, if we had a figure 4, we would want to increase by 3, so then we would have 14. We need to fill in our y value when x is at 0, and so we need to back up 3, so this would be a positive 2. So now we have our table filled out. So we describe this pattern in words, increasing by 3 each time. Okay, we have our table of values to show the relationship, and then we want to use our expression builder once again. There's our variable we're going to use. So again, this first blank is the change, which is this here. So we have a positive 3. And then this last blank is the value of y when x is at 0. And that, as you see, is a positive 2. So that makes our expression 3m plus 2. So we would put 3m plus 2. So now we want to test to make sure this is correct. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. This one works. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. This one works. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8. This one works. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 2 is 11. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14. So it works. So feel free to complete the rest of this worksheet to practice using the expression builder and filling out table of values correctly.